Just when you thought it was over, we started it over. Just a different chapter, but still part of the story. Spirit of a patriot, but the heart of a soldier. If you wasn't part of the grind, you can't be part of the glory. We right here, we ain't going nowhere. It's your worst nightmare. We back and they all scared. Every year is our year. The defense is top tier. Whenever you see that red and blue, it's a new era. They too scared of us. I don't know who said it was over, but they lied. The truth never miss. Kicking down the door like who let him in. We been grinding and we ain't worried about the small talk. We big timers.
Yeah, can't believe it. We ain't leaving.
What's up, Patriots?
What's going on? How we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing my thing. Right. Training camp is the 26th. That first day.
First.
Awesome. I'm curious at who you are looking forward to seeing the most.
Honestly, I'm looking for the next man up, so I would probably have to say maybe Baker or Pope.
Okay.
That's what I want to see. I feel like these other guys, like, the expectations that come with them, like, granted, they Stephon Diggs, we got Travion Henderson, Will Campbell, Drake Maye. So I do understand the importance of those players, but I'm talking about the two that struggled last year because I'm looking for some type of clarity.
Okay.
If it was Alex Van Pelt, or it's just besides Drake Maye out of last year's draft class, it's crap.
Yep.
Because if so, then the stench of, as great as the coach Belichick was, the stench of his drafting ability is still in the building. That's what I want to move away from.
Okay.
So that's really why I want to see those players. Like, I want to see,
Yeah.
because the secondary has gotten better. So iron sharp as iron. If there's ever a time to prove that they belong, you got to face Carlton Davis and Gonzo week in and week out. So that don't make you a better receiver than
right. Like, that's like the ultimate, way to get better, right? Is basically like Christian Gonzalez. Yeah, no, I'm definitely interested to see those two because, like, that's obviously the biggest question mark with our team is, like, that receiver room, just who's going to fit between, those two.
Hayden Wallace, too. Throw him in there.
Yeah.
I feel like he's not going to get that opportunity unless he makes a run at any of the positions, maybe on interior line, like left guard, but things like right guard might be sold up. Right tackle might be sold up. Center looks like it's sold up. Obviously, left tackle sold up.
Yep.
I don't know if Cole Strange will lose his spot.
Yeah, it's that left guard that's, the question mark, right? Everything else seems to be pretty set in stone. So
I feel like I'm going to call it early. Cole Strange and Campbell on that left side of the line, I feel like that's going to be a more underrated dynamic duo.
Yeah, I mean, if Cole Strange could stay healthy, right? I mean,
right.
Talks about when he was healthy, that was been, he was arguably, top 15 at his position.
Yeah, I think Pro Football Focus had him ranked in the top 10, actually.
Right. So, right, if we could just have, like, average guard play, and then Will Campbell, right, kind of shows us why he was the 4th overall pick, right, that's perfect. Like, all we need is at least average at that guard position.
Yeah, because
like someone that's like not every single week. We're like, why is he
Will Campbell having to help on the guard, and then try to kick out to his tackle because then, try to kick out to his man because then that might be in more cases where he might be a little exposed. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like now, I think in that situation maybe the arm length thing would be a problem, but I think getting up to his feet and getting back into his sets. I don't think the arm length thing is going to be.
No.
Like I said, we looked at a lot of these edge rushers, and for them to try to make it seem like every edge rusher in the NFL is just 34-inch arms and all of that, I'm just going to need them to update their referendums on measurements and stuff for these players in these positions. Because
I mean, you and I went over that, right? Like almost all the defenders there, or the defensive ends we're going to be facing, they're all shorter armed.
Right.
We already went through that, right? Like but
like the behemoths, like the big behemoths are like they're rare these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a Myles Garrett.
Yeah, especially the ones that can like really move and things like that. Like, yeah, we got some edge rushers in this league, but outside of Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, and excuse me if I miss somebody else that's like might be in that status right now, but I don't see it. Well, Micah.
Maybe.
Yeah, Micah.
But Micah short.
I would say those three are in a class like by themselves right now. But not a lot of these edge rushers are like these big behemoth type of guys, and they're just like so uncontainable, or you know what I mean? Like I just feel like, and there's some good ones out there, but I just feel like the whole arm lift thing and all that, I feel like it was just blown out of proportion.
Yeah. But for training camp, right? I'm leaning towards receivers. I think I'm most excited to see Kyle Williams. I think he can be, right, if he turns out to, his talent matches, like his production matches his talent, I think he's the receiver that we've been looking for years. Mm-hmm. So I'm very excited to see him like go against Carlton Davis, Gonzo, or at any of the times like remember having the joint practices with the Vikings and the Commanders, seeing him go against them. I think he's someone who can elevate this receiver group tenfold if he matches his talent.
Right, and I was actually just watching Kendrick Bourne's little YouTube video.
I was just watching that right before we got on.
Like literally, I was watching it too.
They
That's
like
so funny. I was definitely watching it. So I was watching route running and stuff. Like I was trying to see if Polk was out there. I believe he was.
Yep, he was.
They weren't showing him as much. But I don't know. Like I kind of like I hate to drag on them, but I kind of want at least one of them to succeed. And I feel like Baker, just because I feel like the addition of Stephon Diggs. Here's what I want the addition of Stephon Diggs to do. All right, if he can produce anywhere from 750 to 800 yards this year for us, that'll be great.
Yep.
On top of if Javon Baker can soak up from Stephon Diggs, because the route running technician and everything, I feel like the play styles can be very similar. Because Stephon Diggs, he's most known for his shiftiness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Stephon Diggs became, especially once he got to Buffalo, he became what we thought Odell Beckham would have been at his peak. You understand what I'm saying? Like with a good quarterback. The wiggle, the pop, the the way he set coverages and everything, because it's not like he's a really big receiver. He's twitchy. He understands his route running. So that's why I'm hoping that Javon Baker can really pick up and learn from him, like in the pros, like how to come out of his sets, how to make his cuts, things like that, how to fully understand the offense. But Josh McDaniels is there, so obviously, there's a new teacher in town, and obviously that Josh McDaniels offense requires a different type of knowledge and understanding of the game. Baker, from what I heard, that his problem was lining up on the wrong side of the field.
That's where I'm nervous, right? McDaniels, complicated offense where you have to obviously know your position, but then you have to know all the other receivers and all their jobs. Right? You have to know what everyone's doing at all times. I think that's going to be a huge struggle for him.
Right. If
that's true, right? If what that report was saying is true, right? I think he's going to be a complete disaster just trying to pick up the offense. Right? If he was struggling with Alex Van Pelt's, right, which I'm sure was super basic, to go to someone like Josh McDaniels, like that's gonna be a disaster.
Right, and just looking at it overall at that wide receiver room, it's like, okay, like we got some guys, but who are the the future stars going forward? Is it only one guy? Is it only Kyle Williams and the rest of these guys, the older guys and the younger guys on this team, and Kyle Williams and Pop Douglas? But these are 5'8" and 5'10" wide receivers, so I see them more, both of them more, Kyle Williams being used as an inside-outside type of weapon, Pop Douglas more inside, but I don't see Kyle Williams primarily being used on the outside. You understand what I'm saying in the Patriots scheme? Because kind of looking back at like the wide receivers that Josh McDaniels utilized that came from other places that were pretty good. Chris Hogan was a bigger receiver than I think a lot of people took note of. He was like, what, 6'2", 215?
Yeah, he was pretty big.
He was
tall. He was very tall.
Who else was another receiver? Well, you got the Damian Adolas. So hopefully, maybe with Pop and Kyle Williams, we could get a sample of a Damian Adola and Julian Edelman. But facts still remain. All right, we got Stephon Diggs, but we still need that future outside threat. Is he already on the roster? Or we're going to have to go and dig into the draft and pay attention to what wide receivers are coming out in this year's draft.
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping Kyle Williams turns out to be something like that, because I'm sick and tired of every single draft, looking at the first receiver we pick and just hoping for something.
Right.
And then, right, we haven't even talked about Efton Chisholm. Obviously, like, the hype is, it's a little crazier than I was expecting, but someone like that'd be cool.
Man, I'm sorry, I forgot about him as well.
Yeah, right. I'm kind of excited to watch him,
So
right? Especially with the Javon Baker and Polk, right? Those three,
So
yeah.
I got a question about Chisholm then. So will we agree that he's more of like a slot option?
Yeah, he's got to be. He's very much like an Edelman type of, him and Dole.
Okay, so my question would be like, do you think that make Pop Douglas expandable now?
Yeah,
because
I think
how many slot options are we going to need?
Yeah, I think Pop
guys
has a bigger role than just slot. I think he's going to be a very big part of McDaniels' offense. I think he's going to move him around like crazy. I think McDaniels is going to, right, because Pop is fast. He's also got some speed to him. Like I think, right, his size is going to limit him on some things, but I really think McDaniels is going to move him around.
But I just hope that we're not back at the same problem that we've had for the last couple of years, because what ends up happening is we end up with a bunch of slot receivers.
Right.
On the roster. Like literally, I think Tyquan Thornton probably would have been better off had they used him as a slot, because primarily in college, that's what he was. He sat down in zones, he used to speed everything else, but with that 4.2 speed, I guess they envisioned an outside threat. Whatever. Who else were the guys that we were bringing in? Juju Smith-Schuster, primarily a slot, a bigger slot, but he's a de facto tight end, if you will. Can we agree on that? Like, where he kind of serves like the purpose of
blocking.
Okay, he's more of an athletic type of tight end, bigger wide receiver, smaller tight end that I can stand up and use in the wing, that can win some matchups in the slot. You know what I mean? I feel like that's how Juju Smith-Schuster's career has been to me.
Yeah.
The only real outside person that they try to bring in that showed a little semblance of him being a threat, but he couldn't stay healthy, and we did not have the quarterback with the type of play style to play with him, was Devontae Parker, I should say. Because there was times I watched him on the perimeter, and I'm like, okay, that's exactly what you would need, because he has good hands. I'm not going to take that from Parker. He just never separated.
Yeah, right.
And that was a linchpin in the Patriots offense. It's not like we had Ben Roethlisberger or Tony Romo or any of those guys at quarterback because they would have force fed them. And those type of possession receivers, that's like where they would have kicked that. But I just hope that we're not back at ground zero again with the same type of offense that we kind of basically been building upon, that we basically got stuck when Josh McDaniels left. That Bill really didn't have anybody else that could have continued that culture, I should say, that offensive scheme or philosophy, besides Matt Patricia, because he's been there the longest. You know what I mean? So it's like,
right.
that's where we got the Matt Patricia, and then after Matt Patricia, we got the Bill O'Brien. But shout out to Bill O'Brien. I don't think any of it was his fault. Like, I felt like he tried to hold the pieces to the puzzle together best as possible, and it just didn't turn out because first game of the season they looked pretty good versus Philly. I give that. You know, it was a competitive game versus Philly.
Yeah, because right now the outside guys, right? There's Matt Collins, and then potentially Kyle Williams. Right, those are the two that in Kyle Williams, right? I feel like he can kind of go wherever, but Matt Collins is definitely an outside guy.
Stephon Diggs.
And then Diggs.
But yeah, he's definitely the ace piece. Is Diggs. And probably Kyle Williams will be able to move in and around. And I think when he moves to the slot, I think we might see some Pope.
Okay, yeah.
But it just sucks because Pope was doing the same shit that we had N'Keal Harry doing, blocking. The only time N'Keal Harry came on the field was when it was run plays, because he was a good blocker. So maybe Jalen Pope gets more slot time, and maybe Kyle Williams works on the outside. Because then, like I said, he can be more of a de facto tight end that can stand up. You know what I mean? Maybe you can use him in certain formations, get him lined up, try to get him matched up against a safety.
Yeah.
You know, try to find some matchups for Pope. But it just seems like everybody from that Washington program kind of seemingly struggled last year. Even Penix, I feel like they kind of boosted him up a little bit versus reality when you kind of look at it. You really didn't see too much special. And me personally, I saw more concern rather than
especially with the talent that Atlanta has around him.
Right.
It should have been a lot crisper. But I mean, granted, right? He only played 4 games. So
right, that's what I say. I'm not trying to drag on him too much, but it looks like the only one was McMillan. He went down to Tampa and looked good because that offense they were running up there in Washington was kind of they had no maturation, no concepts in their routes. Run this route, and this route's going to open up this, or understand this is how you need to run this route. They kind of played more run to this area of the field, and if you're open, I'm going to give you the ball, or if you got the one-on-one, and especially versus Romo Doomsday, that's why last year we saw such a struggle from him as well. So hopefully, hopefully he can get it in between the ears, but he's another one that's going to be on hot fire. I think I'm excited for Ramondre because I think he got a good running mate.
Yeah,
it's not all on him.
Duo. That's gonna be a fun duo. Where Mondre's the straight ahead, right? Will run through you. Travion is the catch, kind of speed back. I think they're gonna be so complementary. I mean, yeah, that's gonna work so well.
I'm excited to see Duggar as well. I really like Kyle Duggar. I really like him.
I hope him and Woodson. Because I don't know how much Jabril. I mean, obviously Jabril's a good player, but I feel like it's going to be him, Woodson, and Duggar. Duggar's more of a key piece. I feel like Duggar's could be on the field the most.
Yeah, I feel like
Woodson.
I feel like he's gonna come in a lot of dime sets because he's
Right.
a good tackler where you have to take a linebacker off the field to get more speed on, but you might feel comfortable like, okay, this guy, he is fast and he brings the thump, so I'm okay with running a couple plays out of this set and removing the linebacker and bringing him onto the field. You understand what I'm saying? We're
Right.
not exposing him to too much, maybe one-on-ones, trying to cover tight ends one-on-one and cover the slots. Like, you're just asking him to, play to his strength, come downhill. We need you downhill. So I feel like that's going to be a good combination. I feel like with Mike Vrabel coming in and just what they brought in on the defensive line and what we have looking forward to with Baltimore coming back from last year's injury, and also you added another key piece corner to two safeties that I feel like honestly were underrated and have been underrated for a while. I feel like a lot of our players are. I'm going to be completely, and I just feel like throughout time, I feel like a lot of our players have been like completely underrated and undervalued. Compared,
look at Gonzo on the top 100.
Right? What is
Right?
he?
Number
85?
84. He's
Yeah.
top 3 at his position.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like going all the way back to even guys like Dante Hightower, guys in the early 2000s that was
McCourty's
player. Yeah, definitely Devin McCourty. I feel like Devin McCourty could have made the Pro Bowl every year if you had, because there were things that people just didn't take account for with him, and not to mention later on in his career, 6 interceptions. Like Devin McCourty was a great safety. Safety.
Patriot Hall of Famer, no doubt.
Yeah, just because you probably didn't see the splash hits and things like that, he's a 3-time Super Bowl champion, and for a reason. And for a great reason, that he played a big role. He didn't ride anybody's coattail with that or nothing. When the lights shine brightest, McCourty, Hightower, and I shout out Gilmore and all those guys, but I'm talking about our homegrown guys that we never had to watch go and play in another jersey or anything. Stayed there through the good and bad. Those were some good players that I feel like never got their props. Like, even like I said, I'm working on the story about the Boogeyman. That I feel like that defense was just so underappreciated, and they try to downplay it compared to a lot of these other defenses. But then you look at, especially through the first 8 games, you look at what the stats are. Oh, well, the competition was this or that. Listen, you play who's in front of you. In front of you. And not to mention, we're not, like, I think people are forgetting that we had a reckoning moment versus the Chiefs. Here's what I think happened. Versus the Chiefs and the Chargers in that playoffs the prior year. Follow me now.
Okay.
The defenses looked great in the first half. Patrick, we probably were the only team twice that year. I can guarantee you, and I say this off the top of my head, in the 2 games that we played the Kansas City Chiefs that year, we probably held them to 9 points combined in both games in the first half.
Yep.
So
that's fair.
I feel like there was a reckoning moment in that game versus the Chargers. They started wavering. Like, we beat the shit out of them, but the score was a little closer than what the game told, honestly. So, but I do feel like you guys gave up 28 points in the end. So, you got to get that together. The Chiefs game, Patrick Mahomes came out and unloaded, 37 on us? Like 30, fucking, he took us for a walk.
Yeah.
He took us for a walk in the second half. But then coming out that game to play the Rams that came into that game, if I'm not mistaken, averaging, 33 points a game?
Yeah, they led the league.
We're one of the best third down teams in the league. Everything. And then to put on the performance that they put on that Super Bowl and doing that to that team was nothing short of miraculous, because then I think that kind of was the moment that it showed that Brady was getting up there in his years, and the Patriots were still able to win. But I think people didn't want to give the value back to the defense that it, you know what I mean, that needed to be accredited to for years and years prior to that. So coming out that season, coming out that Super Bowl, look what happened over the first 8 games. The defense was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Then we lost our defensive coordinator, and we brought in new guys. J.C. Jackson was going into his second year. He was an undrafted rookie the year prior, and I think he had 5 picks that year. And then you had guys like Chase Winovich that you brought in that was key pieces. Elandon Roberts, Cal Van Noy, Dante Hightower, Jamie Collins had made a return.
Yeah, I remember Jamie came back. That was nice.
So, yeah, I feel like those are things that people try to downplay. But when you look at the totality and everything of the picture, we were just a great team that had good players all around. Because notice, we didn't hear nothing about, the Patriots didn't draft a Pro Bowler since this time. And we didn't start hearing about that until, and I love Tom, but Tom started struggling. Because at the end of the day, you do need more talent around you as you get older. But we're not going to say that they didn't try to, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like, I don't know where this comes. Yeah, our players being undervalued. I feel like a lot of our players have been undervalued just throughout history. And, and I love Tom, and I don't feel like he's the one doing it. But I just feel like the narrative of how great he was, people take away from.
Well, that's also why
a lot of really good players.
Yeah, I mean that's also why we didn't get a lot of Pro Bowlers, right? All the focus was on Tom Brady, Gronk, Edelman, right? It was on that offense, right? We're talking about like Devin McCourty, Dante Hightower, like those guys should have gotten, right? Yeah, like those guys should have had
Jamal Sheard,
all pros, Pro Bowlers, but the focus was on Tom, right? Tom was the one that everyone focused on, right? So. Not only was Tom the one that, kind of brought focus into people talking negatively about our players, but he was also the reason that no one talked positively because it was all about Tom.
Right.
But that's no fault to him, right? He's the greatest player of all time. And it's not his problem or his fault,
Yeah, and just in regards, but like when people get y'all only Brady, I shut him down, and I shut him down quick because it's like I told, Tom Brady, 16 out of his 19 years on the Patriots, 19 seasons, I should say. On the Patriots, 16 out of those 19 years, he had a top 10 scoring defense.
Yep. Yeah, that's where Bill came in. That was, Bill's side of everything.
Yeah, so it's like people got to understand totality. Like I said, I can go over even the Atlanta Super Bowl, obviously the Seattle Super Bowl, and the Rams Super Bowl. So where can anybody say that the Patriots were just all Tom Brady when at least 2 of those Super Bowls you can make the argument that other players saved that Super Bowl? Not taking away from the greatness of Tom because I love Tom. Obviously you see him the most. You know what I mean? His figurines over there, like I love Tom. That'll forever go down to be my favorite player, but I'm a realist and I'm fair, and I love everybody that came through this organization and did great things for it. I just feel like some of our guys don't get the credit that historically that they deserve, and they were really good players. Like even Julian Edelman, some people argue, he's not a Hall of Famer because of this, that, and the third. Well, look, when you are a quarterback converted to receiver drafted in the 6th, 7th round. And start having your name mentioned next to Jerry Rice. Playoff. Yards, catches, anything. He overachieved. You're not supposed to know his name.
Yeah.
To today's standard, you're not supposed to know his name. So I'm not saying this because I'm biased or anything. Do I think Julian Edelman deserves a Hall of Fame spot? Yes. Yes, we watch him play time and time again. And the time where it shine bright is, well, it's only in the playoffs. Okay, so do you guys want to have ring talk? Or is it just about stats in the regular season?
Right, the narrative kind of switches when it comes to Edelman, right?
Right.
You know,
Right. And like I said, he was a key piece all the way starting back, dating from, when did we draft Edelman? 08?
yeah, because it was the year after Gronk's, right? I think he was the year after Gronk's, maybe 09.
So Gronk came in what, 2011? I know Chandler Jones and Donta Hightower came in 2012.
It was Gronk after Edelman. Yeah, so Edelman was 2009.
Yeah, I was about to say, because I remember him and Welker. I remember they were on the same team, and I'm like, yeah, that's the mini Welker. And then I saw returning punts and everything, and I kept saying, I like that Edelman guy.
Edelman was 9, Gronk was 10. So Gronk came in the year after Edelman.
Right.
So that was the other way around.
Right. And now look at it. Now, 2009. Now, think about it before then. How many teams did you see utilizing a slot receiver before that?
Right, it was basically us, right?
That's what I'm saying. The Patriots,
right? Because the only team that was doing stuff that we were doing was like the Colts, and they had Marvin Harrison, right, and Reggie Wayne. Like they had like the outside guys.
Nobody was talking about a great slot.
Steelers are always outside guys, right? Those are the big offenses.
Wes Welker in New England, and was Wes Welker there the undefeated season? I don't believe so.
2007, yeah, because Welker and Edelman played together.
Matter of fact, you're right, and that's when the slot receiver became prominent. I dare anybody to go back and look at when a slot receiver became such a key part in the NFL game. You're gonna see it was because of the Patriots offense. And then, even after Welker went out, that's when Edelman came in. So if we want to talk about a slot receiver, a true slot receiver, or somebody that grandfather or that was there that helped pioneer what it is today, yes, you have to accredit some of that to Julian Edelman. However much you want to, it's whatever. But he's the reason why teams started getting smaller corners, bringing them on the field, and finding that could be effective, taking them way inside. Him and Wes Welker. So
faster linebackers, right?
Transcendent player. But he had never, that's what I'm saying. Never get their credit. Or people for Aaron Hernandez, however crazy he was, we made that 12 personnel look like that. That's what I'm saying. From 2007, then you get to the 2011s, 2012s, and things like that. The Aaron Hernandez, Rob Gronkowski combination. Lethal. That was lethal. And you're doing that with tight ends. Right. And guess what? The league had to change again because now they have smaller linebackers to keep up with these 12 personnel sets. You didn't see teams running through, going through teams with two tight end sets like that. And the two tight ends are the one that's eating up everything. So
yeah,
like I said,
and guess who's the offensive coordinator through all that?
Bill O'Brien and Josh McDaniels. It was Josh McDaniels, and then he left out, and Bill O'Brien. That's what I'm saying. Josh McDaniels is a master at that slot position because even look at Jacoby Myers. Well, yeah did he really coach? Yeah, he coached Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, when right?
Yeah. And look what Jacoby Myers became.
Mac and Kim. Yeah.
I hated him his first year on. I'm like, yo, who the fuck? My bad. I remember because I forget which game it was. Was it versus the Ravens? I forget. Tom hit him with a deep pass or something, and he dropped it. Maybe the Cowboys. I don't know. But I was just like, I don't like that Jacoby Myers kid. You feel me? I'm like, who is that? just kept seeing him on the field, but then he got better every year. He did.
Yeah, I think he really filled his role when Cam Newton kind of became quarterback. I think that's when Jacoby really kind of stepped up.
Right.
Became a reliable receiver.
Right. Yeah, I feel like had they kept him here and tried to build on from that, I feel like the Patriots would be okay. And
But
I
it's
don't feel
tough
like the wide
because
receivers
he's the slot, and that's what we had abundance in, you know.
But he did some bullshit though. Like I don't know if I'm overreacting because I called it right then and there, and I swear to you on my life, I literally said it when he did it. I said he's going to the Raiders next year, and then when he did it, it's like am I like you know what I mean? Now I'm questioning myself, like, bro, what the.
Yeah, I mean, it was time for him to go after that.
I don't get it.
But I think that was like the whole team just like finally imploding on itself. Right? That was like the moment where like, yeah, this is like a disaster of a team.
Yeah, but it's like one could make the argument, it's conjecture, but that he threw that game on purpose. Because it's like, still to this day, I would never understand his logic of throwing the ball 20 yards behind the line, back downfield to your quarterback, or back towards the other team's end zone to the most unathletic player on the field. Like, honestly, like, it don't make sense to me. And it pisses me off every time I think about it because it cost us a playoff spot.
Which honestly, thank God, because I think us in the playoffs would have just been so bad. I think it would have been more embarrassing whoever we place in the facing the playoffs. It would have just been so bad.
I got one for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so give me a movie scene that you would attach to what the Bills did to us in the divisional round in the playoffs.
In Infinity War, when Thor came to Wakanda, and he smacked down and killed like 100 of them at the same time.
Yeah,
like took over the entire battle.
Yeah,
that was Josh Allen. That was Josh Allen coming out of nowhere and just slaughtering us in like one move.
Yeah,
his move is going out of the pocket and then finding a guy in the back corner of the end zone every single time, no matter what. That's his move. It works every time.
You know what it reminds me of? You ever seen Love Don't Cost? No, not Love Don't Cost a Thing. What's Love Got to Do with It?
Yeah.
The Tina Turner movie. Remember after years and years of her getting beat, she finally fought back and whooped his ass?
That's a good one.
That's how I feel like that's what happened. That they just came out and exploded on us. It was just like, I'm tired of this shit. You guys have been picking on us for years and bullied us around. I still feel some type of way because they ain't had to do us like that.
Hey,
nah, that was like.
But what happened after that? Like all these years of them bullying us, what has happened? An MVP?
One shit, but I ain't gonna lie, we gotta come back from that. Like we can beat them in the regular season, a regular season sweep, all that. That's cool. Like no, we gotta like. I ain't gonna lie, we gotta see them in the playoffs again and give them every bit of like. We gotta give them the work. I'm sorry, like after that, no.
Could you imagine if we face them this year in the playoffs? That story of Drake versus Josh, Stephon Diggs.
I think we can get him. His team is not as deep. I think people underrate how good his teams used to be. Stephon Diggs, even when he had Emmanuel Sanders there, he played pretty good in stretches. Who else was another? That's when Tremont Edmonds was in on defense. Tremont Edmonds Edmonds was in his prime.
Yeah, Trey White.
Milano was in his prime. Tre'Davious White was in his prime. Those they had the best safety duo in the league. Michael Poyer and Michael what's his name? Number 33. Hyde.
Yeah,
Poyer and Hyde.
Micah Hyde. Yeah.
Yeah, Poyer and Hyde. They had really good. And then on offense they had Josh Allen, Steph Diggs. Who's the running back? They had a pretty decent running back around them times too. Devin Singletary was okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean now where it's Shakir and
offensive line was pretty damn good.
yeah, Deion Dawkins, right? I mean
Yeah, Deion Dawkins.
He's still nice.
I'm saying, yeah, Dawson Knox. He plays pretty good for Buffalo.
They still got some pieces, but they're definitely defensively is where they've gotten
Cole
to
Beasley.
I'd say.
Cole Beasley, when he was there, he was effective.
Yeah.
As I said, like, I feel like when you look at it, because it's a quarterback's game, so anybody's going to take the Bills over the Patriots because of the Josh Allen, Drake Maye thing. Because then let's say you take Josh Allen gets hurt, and everybody else is still on that team. Are you still gonna say that their roster is better than the Patriots? All it did change was the quarterback.
If they lose Josh Allen, I mean that's easily 40% of their team, 30% of their team.
And that's why they lose, because he's 30 to 40% of the team. Like, clearly, common sense to tell you that obviously the Kansas City Chiefs, anybody, because even me as a fan, I kept saying it. I said, listen, if I was a coach, I would let his ego undo him, because you can't do it all. Because I got maybe 6 or 7 good to great players on this defense. You're one great player on that offense, and you might give me some hell. But also, I got a great quarterback on the other side of my ball too, and a coach that's smarter than the coach that's coaching you. He clearly outsmarts him somehow, some way, every single fucking time. Outsmarts Sean McDermott late in games, every time. He pulls something out of a hat, and the success rate of it is like 100%.
Yeah.
But Josh Allen, I feel like he tries to do too much in some of these games, which is why it comes back to bite him in the butt.
I mean, that's why they lost that game, right? The playoff game against the Chiefs. Right? I feel like Josh Allen had a great game. He was phenomenal, but
that blitz.
The defense and the coaching was terrible.
Yeah, and he didn't see that blitz coming. And shout out to Andy Reid, because he called it at the perfect time. Because it didn't alert the offense because of the side of the field that it was on. You know how you move the ball from each hashes and things like that.
Yeah.
So being that they was on that far hash, nothing looked out of the ordinary, and they never sent that blitz at anybody. So that wasn't even something that you could game plan for.
Right.
They already knew Josh Allen would try to move outside the pocket to hit a Dawson, not anything like that. Slid on him. Let the blitz coming from that side. Didn't see it. I'm surprised he still got it off.
Yeah, that was a catchable ball too.
Accurate too.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like, right, he's trying to do everything, and his team can't even keep up with him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Right, and with our defense, right, having Anthony Jennings, Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, Keon White, all those guys are going to move him out of the pocket. If the rest of his team can't keep up with what Josh is trying to do, right, do you think they're going to be able to keep that up with Carlton Davis and Gonzo on them? No shot.
Nope. And this Keon Coleman experiment, I think he's another N'Keal Harry.
I don't know if he's that bad, but
because if you really look at it, now let's be real, Brendan. because a lot of these teams that they consider to be contenders have been missing on their first round picks as of recent, but they're not talking about it because these teams are winning. Who had the Bills taken in the first round in the last couple of years that you're like, damn, they became a good ass player?
Or who they had in general, right? They had Keon.
Last year, no, they took him in the second. Kyer Elam's a bust.
Oh yeah, Elam. That's
Dalton
Florida.
Kincaid doesn't look like what you thought he was. He's decent at best. I don't think he's lighting it up.
He's solid.
Dawson Kincaid, Gregory
Right.
Rousseau, I feel like he's overrated. How many sacks he had last year?
Jesus, not enough for me to remember. And even if he had sacks, I mean, it didn't matter. Their defense was the weak point.
Right. So you got Gregory Rousseau, I think, who you took in what? 2021, I think.
Yeah.
Kyer Elam's a bust. Last year
I forgot about Elam. I was like actually kind of nervous about that pick because I liked them coming out of Florida.
That last year they just took the fastest corner in the draft. And you see what I mean? I feel like as much credit as they give, oh yeah, all right, you took the fastest corner in the draft for what? They're trying to cover Xavier Worthy. So it's like Buffalo, when they had opportunities to maybe grab at some receivers and things like that, Buffalo's about to be sitting because they don't feel like their offense is the problem. Buffalo feels like their defense is the problem. But realistically, yes, you have a quarterback that has all the talent in the world to do so. But he has to learn how to take some things off his shoulder and be unselfish. There's a reason why Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady are the greatest quarterbacks to ever play because both have qualities that are unselfish towards the team.
Yeah, Mahomes will dish it to anyone as long as they're open.
Right.
He's willing to do that. But
take cuts and everything.
I don't know if that's
cuts, all that.
Like, I don't know if it's really on Josh, right? Maybe Josh just doesn't have the faith in his team because the coaching hasn't, been able to draft or recruit the right type of players, right? Because he threw it Stephon Diggs, 12 times a game. He was able to rely on Diggs, but outside of Diggs, he didn't really find much, right? Shakir, but I mean, I don't know. It's not enough.
Yeah, and it's like, look at the Bengals. The Bengals have been missing for years with first-round picks, too, since Jamar Chase.
Yeah. I mean,
look at that. One's about to get redrafted.
Right, because Burrow and Chase were back-to-back years, right? Besides that, it's been a disaster.
Yeah, one's about to get redrafted, who you took this year. Who did they take last year in the first round?
Right, out of those big teams, the Chiefs are the ones who keep hitting. Right, the Chiefs have, since Mahomes, I mean, Trent McDuffie, he was a first round pick.
Yeah, he was a good one. Remember they took that defensive end at the end of one of them first rounds and never heard anything from him.
Yeah. Then, right, honestly, Xavier Worthy, I know the stats weren't anything crazy, but I think in the moments where you needed him, he stepped up. Right, I think Xavier Worthy fits what they're trying to do. Right. For another type.
They thought McDuffie is arguably the best corner in the league.
Right. I think that the Chiefs keep drafting well. Mm-hmm. For everyone else, it's just they have the most insane quarterbacks, and then they're just kind of relying on that.
Mm-hmm.
Which honestly, that's kind of what we did towards the end with Brady, right? And we kind of saw how that ended up.
I feel like if Nico Collins become available, should we take him?
Nico Collins.
I feel like
he's phenomenal.
The Texans have, slowly but sure, the Texans have kind of redid that team. They took both Iowa State wide receivers because both their receivers got hurt last year.
Yeah, I mean Tank Dell's done, right? That's kind of obvious. I don't know. And Nico's a little too. He's obviously insane, but for what we're trying to do, I think he's too old for it.
Who, Collins?
Especially with Stephon Diggs already there, like that's just gonna make it like that much older. You know, like if we didn't have Diggs, then yes. But where we already have Diggs, like we already have like that veteran superstar kind of receiver. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense for what we're trying to do. And then like especially if this year for some reason Drake regresses and he's not really the guy, then it's like okay, then we definitely don't need Nico. We need to find a new person, find a new quarterback. But I mean, obviously, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Drake's going to be fucking awesome. But
I'm really upset that we never got our hands on Jerry Jeudy, and it's like he was there for like such a cheap price. To watch the Cleveland Browns get him for a fifth.
I
I think a lot of wide receivers like they reach their peak with great quarterbacks. I feel like with Drake Maye and Jerry Jeudy, I think you would have saw how effective Jerry Jeudy really is.
I thought we were to get Jeudy when we got Bill O'Brien.
Right.
The Bill O'Brien, Mac Jones kind of deal. I really thought Jeudy was going to be in for the taking.
And they just never pulled the trigger on it. I don't get it. Then you let him go to Cleveland for a fifth.
Yeah, I remember that was.
I heard they was asking for a first at one point, but then Cleveland gets him for a fifth. And then when I see a team like the Patriots that's struggling at wide receiver, but other good wide receivers is going to places for a fifth-round pick that clearly we didn't do shit with. Who got picked in the fifth round after that draft? Hayden Wallace went in the fourth. Who went next?
Was that Layden? Layden Robinson?
He went in the fourth, too. Who went in the fifth round? I don't think we had a fifth-round pick.
Maybe not, yeah.
But y'all couldn't give up that? Because clearly, everybody at the pick number 3. Massive miss.
Yeah. And it sucks because, like, at the time, Jeudy didn't have the value that he has now.
It's clear the Patriots didn't know what they was doing about how fast they fired Gerard Mayo. Because if you was convinced in that plan that you hated the greatest coach that ever coached, that you couldn't deal with him for maybe another year or two, that you brought Gerard Mayo in and made things entirely worse.
Yeah. Well, did you see on Robert Kraft was on Edelman's podcast, and he said the greatest thing that he ever did as an owner was hire Bill Belichick.
For sure.
Which is true, but like, what a complete 360 or complete 180 from, this time last year. Where
it's like, let's be real. You can be mad at him. You guys can have your personal problems, whatever. Anybody, a blind man, that was the greatest decision you made as an owner. And his greatest decision was sticking it out with Tom and putting him in there and sticking it out with him after a quarterback just signed a $100 million deal.
Yep.
And also the Malcolm Butler and, there was a lot of great decisions that came after, bro.
Ooh. There's a report that the Steelers are asking teams what their trade value is for TJ Watt.
They might as well. They need an extra first-round pick or something. They need a quarterback because they're still stuck in the Twilight Zone.
Him and McLaurin are looking like they might be available. I think McLaurin is going to sign with the Commanders. I think that's too great of an opportunity. That team.
I don't think why, and that's what I don't get with some teams. Why would you let him go now when you just seen what Jaden Daniels could do with him? And that's why I hate about some teams that they try to put so much on these young quarterbacks, like, oh, they're going to make any wide receiver around them better. And they take away something important as a veteran wide receiver with that type of level of play. After didn't they go to the NFC Championship?
When?
Yeah. They played in the NFC Championship, right?
I think. Probably. I mean, that sounds
Yeah,
right.
it was them versus Philly.
Oh, yeah. They did.
See?
Yeah.
Took you to the NFC Championship in his rookie year, and you're going to get rid of his top weapon, who's most likely going to get picked up by one of the teams that took one of his counterparts in the same draft.
Yeah, I don't think there's a shot that the Commanders let him go.
I won't sleep on the Denver Broncos neither, though.
Sneaking in and grabbing him.
I think the Denver Broncos are going to be a pain in the ass to a lot of people.
They like Bo. They'll make some moves.
They took what? Jade Bear from Texas, that corner, but he can play safety, slide, corner. Like, he's very good. He actually won a Jim Thorpe Award.
Yeah.
And then you obviously got Surtain. Bo Nix seems to know his weapons pretty damn well.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of teams that would take McLaurin. I just don't see him walking away. The Commanders, that'd be dumb. But Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback you've arguably have ever had. Right? At least since at least 2000.
Yeah.
Because it's like him and then RG3's rookie year.
Definitely. And like I said, what if we see what happened to C.J. Stroud? We seen 1 year C.J. Stroud, everybody's going crazy, and then we just kept seeing flashes of it last year, but nothing close to the year before. And then the offensive coordinator that everybody swore was a new hot name, and he was this, he's that, he gets fired. Why? Yeah. Because their schedule got harder. Sometimes, man, people gotta pay attention to the schedule and shit too, man.
Yeah, I don't know. They can't screw it up. They have to do everything they can to help Jaden thrive. Like, don't change anything. Don't get rid of pieces. Just add.
Because what are you actually gonna accomplish getting rid of Terry McLaurin when you have George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb on one team in one spot in your division? You have Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown on one team in another spot in your division. And you also have a young man by the name of Malik Neighbors down there in New York.
Who might be the best of all of them next year.
A New York Giants defensive line that is revamped.
Yeah.
It can get interesting.
Yeah, that division is going to be fun. That should be a fun one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like I said, the Patriots, I just want to see us come out and be competitive. I want to see Drake Maye, have a good year. Like I said, I ain't ready to storm all the way into the Super Bowl yet because I still want to see the team.
No, after going 4-12, can't get anywhere near that.
Huh?
After going 4-12 in back-to-back seasons, we can't be anywhere near a Super Bowl. That's just like impossible.
Yeah, because now I feel like this season is the most exciting because, like I said, I love Bill to death, but now we're moving out of that era. There's no longer these are Belichick type of guys, and Gerard took. You know what I mean? You came from up under Bill. Though Vrabel played for him, he never coached under Bill. You know what I mean? And I never really seen that their coaching styles were like similar or schematically. So,
no, the only thing that you can arguably say is that they're defensive minded, which that's half the league. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't really mean anything.
Right.
Yeah, I'm so pumped.
I'm ready for Keon White to kind of let bygones be bygones too.
He likes Vrabel, so all that bullshit with Gerard and all those comments, like those need to go. Like he's got to step up because now there's no excuse.
Yeah, because you're a leader,
and you have a great coach.
Young. The team's young again. This is a young team. You're a very young team. Especially if they're about to bring in more draft picks going into next year. They're a young ass team. And for us with the Terry McLaurin thing, I don't see much point in bringing in 230-year-old receivers unless you feel like second year Drake Maye with those 230-year-old receivers can really make a deep push in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it depends on how training camp goes, right? Like where we have so many receivers, like I think we need to figure out what we have first before adding someone else in.
Right.
You know, especially with Kyle Williams, I think, right, if Kyle Williams is that guy, then there's no point in bringing McLaurin in.
I like him.
Well, with that Kendrick Bourne video, all the receivers there, like Bourne and Diggs, they just could not stop raving about him, like the whole video.
Right.
Which is like so exciting.
Yeah, he seemed like he got some attitude to him, some swagger.
Yeah, a little bit of that Steve Smith.
Yeah, I think he'll be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm excited. I liked him out of college, so I'm hopeful, very hopeful.
Looks like he can separate.
That's the thing is the the 2 steps from the line and getting to his route are so fast, and I think that's extremely important in this league. Is just getting that get off, right? Getting that separation to begin with, because then you're able to maintain it.
Isn't Christian? Oh shit, Christian Watson might be up for trade too.
Christian Watson was good for like a year.
Yeah, all he is a deep threat.
I'd rather him than Mac Hollins. I'll give you that.
Yeah, Mac Hollins, bro. All that.
Think of his shit. I don't care about the fucking barefoot bullshit or
right. Like, yo, he better not show up to the games like that. Like,
if he shows up in that fucking, he had like the huge mascot helmet on.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want none of that. Unless you're dropping like.
Put some shoes on.
Yeah. Unless you're dropping like 800 yards this year, like I don't want to see it.
Nah, because they listen. All right, they're gonna keep putting up with it. He gonna come there and something gonna be missing. But he ain't gonna have something on it. Like, yo, what the fuck? Like,
I just you and I both hated it the second it happened, and it's still.
I hate feet, bro. It's just like look at
he got kicked out of a restaurant or something because he didn't have shoes on. I think I saw something like that. Like, dude. I think I saw it on Twitter. You got like kicked out of a restaurant. It's like, come on, man.
Oh,
like, does he not realize his job? You're supposed to like wear shoes.
Right.
Like, why don't you wear shoes?
Like, now I gotta worry about. Mac Hollins not gonna be able to play on Sunday. He got an infection in his foot.
Imagine. Like kicked out of the league. You get an infection in your foot because you're walking around barefoot and in the fucking Gillette Stadium bathroom.
Like, yo,
some dumb shit.
They better, y'all implement policies and rules and stuff for everything. They better put a rule in. Do not show up to this facility, no team facility, or nothing like that without shoes on your feet.
If you don't like sneakers, wear those shoes with the toes. You know what I mean? Like,
don't give him any more ideas. The next thing you know, you might start wrapping his feet up in thongs or something. Like, yeah.
I think he's this close to some like Antonio Brown shit, showing up in frostbite on his feet, walking in the snow.
And I feel like he's getting so overhyped for a few good performances last year. I feel like he's Jalen Pope. I feel like him and Jalen Pope's kind of like a player.
He's the Walmart version of Gabe Davis.
You said what?
He's the Walmart version of Gabe Davis.
Damn. Shit, Gabe Davis ain't been able to really make no impact down there in Jacksonville.
Yeah, well, Trevor, when you go from Josh Allen to Trevor Lawrence, it's going to happen.
You got to get phased out again because now you got Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how this plays out for Travis Hunter trying to play both ways. I don't think he's going to get this one.
No,
It's the pros is different. It's different.
It sounds like that he's gonna be a receiver mostly.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because they have Brian Thomas, but I don't know. I think it's gonna show how bad Trevor Lawrence is, though. I think Jacksonville is in for a rude awakening with that one. I think they've been ignoring the fact that he's not that good.
Or Travis Hunter has to sharpen his receiver skills. Like, yeah, he has good handoff coordination and all that, but like his route running isn't exactly he has the wiggle and pop to do it, but I'm not gonna act like he's like a technician. You know what I mean?
Right.
And not like you don't have like a skinnier frame or that it's not a player that can line up across from him that can't match his athleticism. Now he's in the pros. So.
Yeah, definitely. But, all right. Well, I'll let you go. Ray will be here next week.
For sure, man. It was definitely, this was a good episode tonight, though, for sure. Definitely gonna get to it next week. Hopefully, we receive like a surprise trade or something like that.
Last week before training camp, so this is like the last week of like not having anything.
Hey,
you know what I mean? Like scheduled.
In the building.
Yeah.
Would you trade a first round pick for TJ Watt? Next year's?
If we end up being like that 9-8 to 11-6 range, our first round pick, I think is totally worth it, TJ Watt. Yeah, if we're going to be what we've been, we're having a top 5, top 10 pick, then probably not. Especially with this upcoming draft. But like if we're, mid-tier and we're getting a TJ Watt who's, coming off pissed because of this whole Steelers contract situation, I don't see why not.
Yeah, I think we'll have one of the top defenses in the league. Because to have TJ Watt with the corners that we have, just imagine if we played like how Pittsburgh played over this year, but we got a better offense.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's scary.
But all right, fam. I'll definitely catch you next week.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Easy.
37-year-old. We're on to Cincinnati. It's nothing about the past, nothing about the future. Right now, we're preparing for Cincinnati.
Okay, do you feel like the talent you have here is good enough?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati.
What is your responsibility?
I'm just asking, do you think you've done enough to help Tom Brady?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati.